Welcome to School Immunity. We are deep into the season and it is time to, I don't know, go crazy with what's going on. Jeff's been let loose. I'm here with Brandon and Alex, my amazing co-hosts. Hi, guys. What did we think? I'm going to go with Alex first this time. Ooh.
What did I think? I thought it was a good episode. I mean, the season's picking up. We're seeing this, tear that it's expected that Savannah and Rizzo will go on. They're fighting from the bottom. It's 2 or 3, I guess, with Sophie, against everybody, and they pulled it off. So I thought it was a pretty good episode. I was happy that Sophie stayed, and I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, wow, they really flipped that. And we kind of predicted this last week that God, what's his name? Jawan and Sage, they're a little bit shaky, right? They're a little like they changed their mind, like they're unsure of themselves. Should we go down to the beach? Should we not go down to the beach? And Rizzo and Savannah, they're just very confident. They have a lot of certainty. And so they were able just to push through their agenda, and Jawan and Sage were the people who completely flipped. And for what so that was kind of my analysis of it.
Yeah, so certainty and good feet doing the challenge. Not only, I mean, this is crazy. Savannah won basically because she has better strength than everybody else in her feet and stamina. She got fed. She secured the vote. She basically got on the island, and they basically said, okay, forget Riz right now. We're going for somebody else. She gets an extra vote and a game worthy of season 50, because if she left the game, I still see no reason for her to be on season 50. So because she won that challenge, not only does she stay in and do all those things, but also it was her ticket. She falls off. She's not doing 50. So I thought that was crazy.
Okay. Yeah, 50.
Right.
We've got our signs today. We got a whole bunch of.
Wait.
Brandon has great ideas he brings to this, so I wish he'd bring some of that to Survivor, because I did not like this episode for certain reasons. I mean, I'm just like, to me, this episode, I wanted to bang my head against my desk when I watched it. I was just like, OMG. And now when I want to, instead of taking the Lord's name in vain, I'm just going to go, Jean Shaheen is going to be my new JC. Instead of saying JC, I'm going to be like, Jean Shaheen. Oh my word. You'll get that if you pay attention to the news. And I was just frustrated, and I didn't like the advantage. I didn't like how wishy-washy people were. And my burning question, the thing that I came out of there with that really got to me was, what the heck did MC say? So that's where it left me. That was it.
Apparently not enough. Apparently not enough to get her to not be voted out last night. I think there's a lot of decisions and a lot of thought and a lot of different proactivity that went on the second half of the season. So to build us up to where we need to go, where all the decisions were made. Did it start your hate for this episode? Where did it start, Brie?
It didn't start until okay. I don't like immunity challenges when I just want to see an individual winner. There's a couple things. I think the first thing that I didn't like was, you're all safe and you're not going to tribal, and you are going to tribal, and there's only 5 of you.
So do you think it must be the purpose of a merge? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm so tired of it being just like there's nowhere to hide, and it's, oh, you really have to have a game plan and stuff. You know what I like? I like the big votes where you have to have a plan and you have to maneuver, because there's so many variables. Like 3 could go one way, 4 could go another. Like there's all these different possible combinations. Makes it so much more difficult. It adds such a deeper element to everything. And I'm not getting that when there's 5 people at tribal. It's like, well, I just got to get 2 people with me. That's 3. That's all I need, right?
So let's go hypothetical here. Let's go hypothetical. Let's say that this was a immunity challenge where one person wins. It's Savannah. What do you see taking place? Do you think Sophie, Soph is gone, or who would you say? Do you think this? How do you think this would go?
I mean, I'm not really sure who would have gone home. I think there was a lot of talk about a lot of different people. I think Rizzo would have been in a bad place. I don't see anyone saying, well, we should flush the idol, because I think that would be a smart move. If you're not going to get rid of Rizzo, at least make him worried. So you flush the idol out and he uses it because he's worried. He didn't use it. He was like, I ain't gonna use it. I'm gonna save it. This is like, what did he say? Christmas morning or whatever, when you get all these gifts and award ceremony or whatever. He wasn't. She's banking the vote. He's saving everything. Like, there was no pressure on this. This was just stupid to me. Who would have gone home? I don't know. It might have been MC anyway. I'm not like bitter about that. I just want to see. I don't want it to be so straightforward, even though they were wishy-washy. We don't know what was said, and that might have been a little bit interesting, but nothing changed because of it. So, like, you have all these little chats, but then it's still the same outcome. It's just MC. MC instigates it, but then it still backfires on her. So I don't know what that was about. So for me, it was not that exciting, and I didn't like that. I'm not a Savannah fan. I'll say it out loud.
You're not a Savannah banana.
Nope. I am not, but I think one of the things that people go on Survivor is to have Jeff put that necklace on you. And to get it at Tree Mail and throw it on yourself bothered me as well. So I got a lot of opinions today. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
You do, Alex. I think I have a guess at what would have happened hypothetically, but I want to hear from you. Hypothetically, Savannah wins. It's completely the normal Survivor. What happens?
I don't think Juwan and Sage would be as easily swayed because there would be more people influencing them. I felt like Steven and Christina, right? I feel like they're a little bit less risk-taking. And, like MC just kind of lost the tribe. And then because MC and Sophie were apart because they lost trust, that created a lot of uncertainty in Jamal and Sage. So I feel like that wouldn't have happened if they were back at camp and they were with, like I said, Christina and Steven, because they seem kind of like just very like kind of friendly. Like they don't want to rock the boat. They haven't really shown that they would like flip on anybody or that they're doing any gameplay. So I feel like it probably would have been a fake out on Rizzo, and then they would have maybe voted Sophie off. The only reason Sophie wouldn't come off is if Alex heard the plan and said, hey, you need to do something. It's hard to say like how connected they still are, because they kind of had a really bad first tribe. They didn't really connect here. They didn't vote together on the previous one, and usually people who are really tight vote together, and they didn't. Mm-hmm. I agree with Bree in some ways. It's like there was a lot of rules on the challenge. It was like the first 2 teams, then the person who wins doesn't vote and doesn't get immunity, but gets an advantage. And then the other, this was like, okay. And then they had her re-enter the game with.
She was supposed to be safe, and then she gets an advantage. And then all of a sudden now she's going to go vote with the tribe that was.
We really got to map out like what's the flow chart of what are all the possibilities that could happen. Okay. Somebody could leave and they could go to Exile Island and then not have immunity, but come back, after tribal and then vote the next person off. Right.
Yeah. It was definitely a very, for the type of challenge it was, like a heavy set person was not going to win this challenge. Like, there's going to be a light on your feet, person that can endure. So the endurance part is there. I get it. But I wish that this was so loaded that it would be more of a fair challenge, more different pieces of a challenge that someone would have to go through. So I think my biggest turnoff is the fact that sometimes they choose challenges where it's heavily a lot of advantages. The winner gets a lot of different things, and I don't think that a one piece challenge, which was endurance and weightlessness and foot strength, should have been necessarily that challenge to do. This is the second season in a row that we've seen kind of at this point that the winner gets so much, because I think it happened with who was the girl that her and Joe,
right?
What's her name now?
Right.
It's only been a season, but this is the second time where she got a huge advantage as well.
Yeah.
When she got out, so I think it is a little bit too big. I wish it would put like an reward challenge and then an immunity challenge to kind of split this up. But I just can't. I just see in that hypothetical situation that it would have been exactly that. I think Alex would have told Sophie, "You have to do something." She plays the knowledge is power against Rizzo, and they send her home in a live tribal council. So, I mean, this impact, how he set the game up, was huge for Rizzo and Savannah. And it's almost as if, is it really Savannah and Rizzo doing all these amazing things to get on 50? Or is it that they're just hitting their stride at the right time? I would say it's a little bit of both. Bree?
Yeah, I just think that they gave Savannah a wand and she took it, and I don't. She's so full of herself right now. She's not giving me likability much at all. Respect to her gameplay a bit, and respect to Rizzo and her for coming in and turning what shouldn't have been such an easy flip around for everybody just into exactly what they wanted. But I didn't like her confessionals at all. I thought they were conceited and really flippant, and I didn't appreciate it, which is why I'm giving her the early Glinda award of the day, for just having everything going so easily for her. And flip, hair, right? I just feel like that's what she's doing. And I don't like it. I just thought I felt bad for her for not getting the necklace from Jeff, but then she goes over on this boat and she's got so much attitude and a lot of swag that she don't think really gets. I wish we didn't know. Jean Shaheen, I wish we didn't know.
Jean Shaheen.
I wish we didn't know that they go on to 50, because it clouds everything I think about them.
It really does. I mean, it's a different season. That's what makes the season a little bit more different than the rest of them, because we do know what these two people do. They're not going to go home next week either, because they haven't done enough to me to really deserve season 50. They're getting closer, I think, on this, but a lot of it was, Savannah did great at the challenge. I think RizGod was the one who pointed his fingers at MC over Sophie, which was, I think, a great move on his part. So this isn't just like, oh, here's the golden platter, here's the silver platter, you get it. They're doing something. I don't know if it's enough yet. And yes, Bree, it is throwing me off a little bit that we know so much about these people. Alex?
Two things. One, at the challenge, it's Savannah was the lightest. She's very short, and so that's interesting. And then Jeff's like, give it, empty the tank, and it's like the outside of my pinky toe has no tank. It's just
what's that tank?
There's no tank there. So I don't know how you perfect that challenge or how you get.
Well, if you're a rock climber, that's an easy challenge for you, because you're used to putting all your weight and getting you, and you probably built that up a little bit. Same with the hand grip kind of stuff, with fingertips. I've seen people that can do insane things. However, you have to be tiny, slight, with small feet to make that challenge work.
Right.
Otherwise, you're screwed. Other guys didn't stand a chance.
Right. You just
hold
yourself up. Yeah. So you look at Rizzo, Soph, and Savannah now. Rizzo has a hidden immunity idol. Savannah has the extra vote. Soph has the knowledge is power. So that's pretty powerful. They were saying, they were kind of alluding in the scenes from the next episode, we're the most powerful people, we're running this game. And, that type of confidence when you have kind of a bunch of people who are, kind of self-identified as maybe Sage is we're the outsiders. We're we're not the mean girls, but we're the new mean girls, right? It's that doesn't really work.
Still a mean girl.
I love the barely zoomed in picture and the face change. That was beautiful cinematography.
Mm-hmm. So that's and you know, another thing that surprised me from this episode was Sophie, Yellow Sophie or Sophie, right? How, you know, she wasn't mentioned. Like, people are like, is she even on the season? Who is this lady? Where did she come from? And this episode, it was like her episode. Everyone was like, oh my God, she's such a challenge beast. When?
Where
Like,
did that come from?
how many? We've only done like one challenge. Like, how's she a challenge beast? I guess maybe because of the puzzles. So her coming out as this big target and is like this, oh my God, who can beat her? And she's such a target, and you can always vote her out. She'll always get votes. But then they also simultaneously said nobody works with her and nobody likes her. So I was like, what? Like, so that was surprising.
Yeah, and she really doesn't have anybody right now. I mean, she doesn't have really anything locked in with Christina. And Steven and her, I don't see them jiving. I think she's a little bit too, I don't want to use the word negative, but she really is very opinionated. Where Steven is the guy that, you know, basically facilitated discussion with Savannah. He was the guy who was sitting there listening on the dirt while she was on the log, just explaining her problems she's had and stuff like that. So watch out for Steven when it comes to who's the guy that's kind of being the, I'm kind of listening to everybody. They necessarily weren't on Tribe a whole lot together, Steven and Savannah, but yet it was Steven that was the one listening to her story, which I think is going to be helpful for him for sure in the future. I don't know if he gets a victory, but I think it does show.
I like Steven, even though he looks like Ryan Reynolds. I really like Steven. That's a good thing. I think that I'd like to see him do more. This wasn't his episode. He's not going to be shown that much in this one. We're going to see him a lot more in the next one. They're already showing a lot of that. But I did notice, like, I don't understand MC's game. I didn't understand it. She kept giving us these sparkles of hope that she had a great game, and then she kept screwing herself over.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's just things that are not clicking for her. And I think that was her downfall in the whole thing. Because I think she could have been a top player, but I don't know. What am I missing? What did she like? What happened to her?
She missed voting at all before merge. This is the problem that happens when people don't have a vote to base any trust off of. Juwan's poor feelings were hurt, which I'm not so sorry about. He took that way too personally, but I think, you know, Juwan was able to trust people because he's voted before. MC has had one vote this whole entire season. Now she's at Ponderosa, probably taking things back and forth with Nate, and talking small talk the rest of the next 20 days there. So for MC, I just think that while I don't think it was necessarily a bad play for her to play that immunity idol, because who does she really have trust with? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it went a long way. Had she kind of enabled so much, I've never seen so much trust taken away from a player who simply just played an immunity idol, and she went along with the plan. She voted the way she was supposed to vote. So I think they took it way too.
I didn't get that either, because everything in my head kept saying, well, she played it because she didn't want a target on her. She was like, hey, y'all know I have an immunity idol. I'm just going to play it and get rid of it, because
it shows us. Go ahead.
Instead, it had the opposite effect on her.
Yeah, Riz got it. Shows that he's really mindful of what's happening. He has social awareness like a hawk, because he has, you know, should have been playing it the last 2 votes and hasn't yet. Yeah. But knew better. MC plays it once and it destroys her whole entire game. She doesn't play it next round. She's still in it, and perhaps even with an idol the second time around, because they trust her and they vote out Sophie instead. So I think they put way too much. And maybe her downside is that maybe she didn't have those conversations and kind of verbalize what that idol play was or was not. So I think with different contestants, it would have been a different game for her. So, you know, she's a meh for me. Alex, what's your thoughts on MC and why her game
fell apart?
Well, I think that you had too large of an alliance with Sophie, Steven, Christina, and MC. And then you know, I just feel like they were all kind of kind of connected, but they didn't really bond very deeply. It was kind of like, you know, work colleagues type of thing. People were saying this is like corporate retreat, you know, vibes. Like, so I kind of felt like they just didn't have a very strong relationship. Like the four of them, I think like the four of them together, they're like, okay, yeah, we're all kind of the same, but there's no like kind of deep bonding there, which you would get through like tribal councils or, I don't know, identifying as an outcast or something, kind of like Jawan and Sage. So I just don't feel like they were really bonded, and that's why Sophie and MC were so easily broken up. And then MC's move to go to Jawan, I mean, that was just stupid. Like, why does she want to align with Jawan? What power does Jawan have? Sage? Well, they're not like super aligned. They're not necessarily a duo. So her, like, maybe it was like a people pleasing thing for her to like want to go back to Jawan, or she felt guilty. She said that like he trusted me, so now I need to show him trust. So
I
he's
think
obviously going to go to Sage. So in that scenario, so then, so I don't know. I just. Sophie's game didn't impress me because she wasn't very good at, she didn't lie. Like she just kind of folded and like, here's all my cards and here's exactly what I was saying to everybody. She wasn't able to like kind of see, okay, what if this blows up? What am I going to say? I mean, she got MC out. So I guess that's, you know, she's, you know, good in that regard, but same with MC, like they just weren't players. Right.
Yes. So let's go, because there was a lot of big decisions being made. I mean, after the challenge, it seemed like Rizgod was the best answer. And really, for all of them, he was the best answer to send him home. But again, one thing that we've already talked about is that Savannah and Rizgod, their confidence level and their forthrightness and just being, hey, we're going to do this. That is showing that those are going to be the power players in the season. And these other guys are kind of wishy-washy a little bit, or at least like being like, hey, that's what's wrong with the strategy. As long as it's not me type approach. If you do that long enough, you're not going to make a bold move later on to send somebody that needs to go home. So let's go over those moves one at a time. So the first thing that happened when you get there is Sophie went to MC saying that I am just telling you this, but I'm going to put a vote on Jawan. Was that iffy, or was that a season 50, like more towards season 50 for you guys? So was it iffy? Was it bad that she told MC that, or was it 50? And it's easy to do this because we know the outcome. 1, 2, 3, iffy. And why are we saying that was an iffy decision on her part? What was wrong?
Because there was no purpose in saying it.
So do you think that she still should have done that at tribal council put a
I
vote
think she should have let the plan go through, not throw anybody else's name under the bus, and just let everything go, and at least have a tie where now they have to make a decision. And then she could have pled her case after it was a tie between, if it became a tie between Jawan and Sophie, she could have pled her case and been like, hey, this, you know, I'm the better person to keep here. And if they say, why did you put Jawan's name down? Well, I had to put, we all know he had a idol, and I didn't want to then guarantee myself a way home, which none of, if you had been volunteering your name, you would have done the same dang thing. So I think it was wrong. I think anytime you throw someone's name out, you run the risk of the person you told going back to that person, because it's either you're going to have somebody you're tight with and that you trust, or you've just given that person all the ammunition they need to go build trust with someone else.
And there seemed to have been a lot of time. You know, most of the best decisions are made 5 seconds before tribal or even at
exactly.
Tribal. So the fact that Savannah wasn't even on the island yet, and yet she's already concocting plans, that was kind of Shannon's problem too, is that she was making moves way too early, and you start to look a little sus doing so.
Yep. What do you think, Alex?
Well, I thought it was interesting, you know, Savannah, she was, you know, so the episode started with Sage saying Savannah was making fun of her in front of her. You know, she was like, she's digging at me with like these chicken comments. I didn't really understand it, or like why it was. I guess like because Sage really loves animals, and Shannon or Savannah was kind of like mocking her with like killing it, or the, you know, whatever. So I thought that was weird. And then it switches to Savannah saying, you know, oh, I was a victim at work, which is terrible. okay, we don't want anybody being mean to at work, but it's just kind of interesting. And then she's like zero confidence, right? Is crying, and then she gets the immunity idol, and then she's like, totally confident. I mean, that's how it works, right? If you have, but this was her like she needed this, like this episode, she needed this come back. So I thought that was interesting. And then Sophie's play of telling MC. Just didn't need to say it at all. Could have did the vote and explained it afterwards. And then once you're back at camp and you didn't get voted off at this crazy tribal, you're just like, oh, well, at least I'm safe. You know what I mean? And like, then it's easy to kind of brush over that versus this huge breakdown before tribal. Mm-hmm. So you just get through tribal, everyone's safe, they go back to camp, and then you can, use your skills.
So this could have sent Sophie home. Kind of mistake, but then we have somebody that won up Sophie, I think, and it's MC then goes to Jawan. So iffy or 50 or iffy on MC. 1, 2, 3. Great job, guys. That's the right answer. Why?
Wow.
Obviously.
There was, this is where I lose MC. This is where I don't get MC. Like, it's a pretty, is your name in anyone's mouth? No. No one's talking about you. It's Sophie and Rizzo, and then maybe a Jawan vote. Is your name in their mouths? Then shut up. Mm-hmm. Like, be quiet. Like, this is the thing. You got to be so careful. You can't, when a plan has been hatched and things look good and you're not up in the mouths of anybody, so you're pretty safe, keep it that way and stop talking about things. I think that's one of the biggest things that people have a hard time with.
And do you think that this could be a part of the problem with Jeff saying, hey, play for season 50, play hard? Because I think these players are looking for that proactive trust chip to give other people, or that proactive blindside, or trying to do one move too many. And this might be one of those examples of MC going to Jawan on this. Alex, your thoughts? Was it worth the trust chip?
No, obviously not. But Sophie putting her own name up, like you never do that in Survivor. You never say like, write my name down, or like tell them to vote for me, because that could so easily blow back on you. So you could have just said, we need to put take the people that you want to vote, need to put the votes on, which could be MC, right? And Sophie could have hatched the same plan without without putting her own name out there. Mm-hmm. So. No, and Jawan, like I said, just doesn't have. Jawan started the episode. He was like, "We started this. We were on the bottom of the other tribe, and now we're in the bottom of this tribe."
And he is a hype man.
Right,
he is a hype man.
Jawan, you're in a worse position. There's worse numbers on the other side. What are you doing?
Savannah the Savage. I'm like, dude, you've been putting your logs in her bag and stealing all her stuff. Like, of course she should.
Yeah. He's like, in my worst nightmare, Savannah.
You should be a savage.
What does that mean, dude? Like, you didn't vote her off last time.
Hey, if you do it
she's
first,
back at camp.
You bad. Anyways, so we all agree on if you have anything to add, Brie, on MC going to Jawan.
Just math. Just math. Nobody knows math. So if you have 5 people on an island, they're going to vote, and 4 of you are going to vote for one person, and then the other person, and you don't want that person to know, so they don't use their idol, because then that one vote, see 4, you have 4, and then we got 1, right? And so you don't want the 1 to know that all 4 are going to vote for him. So you've got this kind of little backup-y plan thing, whatever. And then his buddy comes over. Which is greater? The 4 or the 2? Oh, wait, we still have 4? We could still vote for him? Oh, that never crossed their mind. Like, that's what I don't get about this. Now you have Rizzo with Savannah who are thinking, oh, it's between MC and Sophie. This is a done deal. I am definitely not going to be using my idol. Why would you not continue your vote against Rizzo? Why would you not get the Riz God out? What is wrong with you? Forrest, I don't care if Riz got his best buddy there. It's not going to make a difference. And she's not even voting, but they don't know that. But even if she is voting, it's 2 is still not greater than 4. This is second grade math, first grade math. I don't get it. What's up, gangster? What's up? We got all kinds of people. Yeah.
Wow. The comments today.
The comments are great today. I'm loving it.
Gangsta. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Next part then. So then you have Jawan, who now tells Sage. Iffy, 50. Bad, good, 1.
There's a lot of iffy crap going on. Sorry, I can't count.
Oh, that's wrong.
You thought it was nifty? I think it was iffy.
And here's the nifty. I can't find 50. I don't think it's worth a 50. So I'm gonna go with nifty. I'm gonna go right in the middle. The reason being is because I think you have to tell your alliance. You have to keep that going. He has the trust chips with Sage, and I think that's what it is. What trust tips does MC have with Jawan? There's nothing there. Like, she's trying to rebuild something she already broke, and what she broke was just his emotional tie to her playing an idol. So I think that the MC thing goes back to her needing to be able to say, hey, like, I really needed a vote where I trust you guys and I'm going to use it. Doesn't mean I don't trust you guys, but I want to be secure. You never know what can happen at tribal. That's what she should have done. But with Jawan telling Sage, that's an alliance. Those are strong enough.
Yeah, but I think it was like a big move. I mean,
not a big move, but I don't think it was a bad move. I think it was, that's why I said nifty instead of fit. I don't think it's worth going on to play in another season, but I think
so here's the problem I have. Okay, let me
go for it. I'm ready.
The thing about it was, instead of saying, okay, if he's going to put my name down, if like our target still needs to remain on the Riz God and not over on Sophie or whatever else, because that's really not making any sense. I get for Riz why it makes sense to get rid of MC and pick up Sophie as a vote, because Sophie doesn't have anyone. But that makes sense for his game. That doesn't make sense for anybody else's game, pretty much. So I like, in target, you should see a duo with Savannah and Riz that you need to break up. That should be priority. We always prioritize these 2-for-1 votes, right? You've got this pair, you got to break them up. And why would you not continue to target? But then if you do tell Sage, if you're Jawan and you do tell Sage, then you say, hey, Sage, we got to make sure that if he plays an idol and on my name is in there with a tie, that votes all go to Sophie at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a leveled plan. It's not a, oh, well, she's going to put my name out there, I'm going to just vote her out then, right? Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. The whole thing, they should never have lost focus of Riz. Never. That's the thing that's bothering me about this whole thing.
Oh, I get it. I'm just saying Jawan's move telling Sage. Like, I think
he had to tell her, but I think that his response was, oh, if she's going to put my name down, maybe I'll come after her. Instead of thinking, well, if she does put my name down, it comes to a tie, y'all better be voting to get rid of her and not me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, it's nifty. It's nifty. Sage and Jawan, it's this unlikely alliance. Like, who would put them together? And mm-hmm. I don't think they would put each other together. So I don't think that's gonna last, but they're just kind of victims of circumstance. They have nobody else, and they're not kind of able to get in good with. I mean, I guess Steven and Jawan are kind of seeming close. They kind of connect on the nerd type of stuff. And, so I think maybe that's like Jawan's, and that's maybe an issue with Steven too. Like, is he forming I guess with Savannah, that's not the person he wants to form a deep relationship with though. So I think, if they can just, and this is kind of the issue of why you're going to see Riz and Soph and Savannah just kind of, I think like bulldoze these people, is just because like when it goes to a vote where it's like a gridlock, right? 3-3, and they're going to draw rocks. The other side's going to cave. Riz and Soph, and they're like in the situation of like their backs up against the wall. They're not in the power position, and they're fighters in that way. Where like Rizzo's like a salesperson. It's a lot of rejection. I don't know about the other two as much, but a newscaster, that's somebody who's kind of hot under pressure, or like does well under pressure. The camera's on, it's recording, you have to perform. I don't know what Soph does. What does she do? What's her profession? She's a entrepreneur. Hey, she's an entrepreneur too, very self-driven. So all three of these people are like, when the pressure's on, when the spotlight's on you, they're going to turn on, versus a scientist. They perform well in an isolated environment where it's quiet.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of things going on, and it's very measured, and it's predictable. All three of these people are in a job and a profession that's unpredictable. It's self-driven. All the reasons I said. So that's look at that. That's a novel. Okay.
That's fair. That was a great approach. I like that breakdown. That was great. I think you get a. That's what I think of that, Alex. That's what I'm going to give you on that.
That's a nifty perspective.
Oh, I lost mine already.
Give me a nifty, Brandon.
You get a 50. Oh, you get a 50. 2 votes.
I'm on 50 now.
No, you're on 50. Yeah, take out who do I want out of that season?
Kyle.
Too many seasons. No, don't take my boy out.
Joe.
Don't take out Joe. Take out
Joe.
Then last piece of this was Sage then going and telling Sophie. Did that need to happen? Go.
I'll give it a nifty.
You're gonna nifty?
Mm-hmm.
I will give it. Did it? No. 1, 2, 3. Is my the only one putting it up?
Whoa! All across the board, one of each.
Go ahead, Bree. I'm ready.
I think it was smart of Sage because Sage sees the possibility with Sophie. I think that Sage and Sophie would actually be a great team together. Mm-hmm. I like those two. I think they're both strong women. I think they're both like playing the game pretty well. I think I like Sophie with Sage a whole lot better than I like Juwan with Sage. But I think that would be the better kind of like getting this like a 3-person alliance together, which is what they need, right? So how do you beat 2? Well, you get 3 solid. And if you can get those 3 solid, now you've got Sophie leaning more towards Riz and Savannah than you do Sage and Juwan. So I think Sage has to go in and play this card and say, hey, here's what's going down. Don't put your name out there. They're everything about you, and they're gonna go after you instead of, so I thought it was a very smart play on her part, because at that point everything was so Jean Shaheen'd up that it was time to, clean everything and cut through the garbage and make sure that you have something in line for this vote, because it was at that point scrambled eggs everywhere. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and I just put iffy because I wanted to disagree. I think that was the smartest decision. I think I wanted to just fight it out a little bit, but you said everything right. Sage needs somebody that if the whole Juwan Steven group gets too close, that she has her buddy Sophie now. She basically said, hey, you made a bad decision. It didn't affect me, but now I need to have somebody that I have a better game than at this time. So I can bring you now because I can easily beat you now because of this mistake. And I tell you what, I would not mind seeing Sage again in a future season. I think she's brought enough to say, hey, I'd watch your game again. I don't think if you come on a second season, you'll be a predictable person, knowing how you played this past season. So I like Sage, and it's going to be interesting to see how they dismantle Sage. because we think it's going to happen. So I think that could be a very interesting vote out in the future. And I think that was a very positive thing for Sage to vote out MC. And it was probably the only person who was really that vote was really good for was, I think, Sage. She gained some trust. So I think this helps Sage more than anybody else.
Alex?
Well, you heard Savannah say that everyone's going to Sage. Sage was complaining at the well. She was like, oh, well, she's at the well. Oh, well. And she was saying, nobody's talking to me. I'm out of the loop. Oh, you know how it feels now, to Savannah. And Savannah's like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, everyone's coming to you. You're like, so she's played this game where she's like kind of kept it low key enough. She's kind of shown that she's kind of neutral because she voted with the, other tribe the next time. And she's just not a target. And they're not really, the alliances aren't, dwindled down and small enough where you'd have to want to vote somebody like Sage because you have nobody left. So she's kind of playing the middle right now. I think where you will see her fall apart is when it goes down to I'm curious to see how Steven and Christina react to this vote, because I saw MC as kind of like actually the bridge between Christina and Steven and Sophie. Like, she was kind of the thing keeping that foursome together. With her gone, are Steven and Christina that tight anymore? Does Steven try to go with Sage and Jawan? Because he kind of has that loyalty with them and that trust. And that's a terrible alliance for Steven. And so this is where Sophie and, Riz and, or Soph, I should say, Soph and Riz and Savannah are just like, it's their game now at this point.
Yeah, I almost called it the Up Yours Alliance, but the Bottoms Up Alliance, I think that is a very strong alliance. I think the thing that's going to rock the Bottoms Up Alliance is the fact that not only does Savannah and Rizgod and Sophie have all these advantages, but no one knows about them except for Rizgod's. Sophie hasn't even told anybody. It's going to be curious. It looks like she does tell them because they say, hey, we have all this power. So I wonder if she mentions that to be like, hey, since you guys have come out and honest and open about this, here's my trust chip to give you.
Yeah.
And we're
all going to go around and be like, Rizzo's going to be like, I have the idol. And Savannah's going to be like, I have the extra vote. And then Soph is going to be like, yeah.
Yeah. And Oprah says you have it all. Everybody gets something. Yeah.
Everybody gets something. Yeah, I don't know if Sophie will share that she has that. I'm wondering, because now we're seeing some different things play out. Do Savannah and Riz get to the final and they take second and third? And is Sophie's game that great and she wins? Because this is another reason why I absolutely hate knowing any of this. It's driving me crazy because I know and I don't like knowing. I do, and I'm a person that likes to know things. I will fast forward to see the ending and then go back and watch the whole thing again because I like to know. But I don't like to know in this case because it's clouding a season that's like it's giving me stuff for a different season and clouding my current season. Like this, it's not clean. I don't like it. So okay, I want to make sure we have time because we're running late. What did MC? What did we think MC said at Tribal? Because that's literally driving me bananas.
Oh yeah, that was really weird. Like they usually always show what they're whispering, right? Am I remembering this wrong?
Or at least they give you enough information to say what could have been said. Right.
Right. That was just so weird. It was pretty, it was like a minute of them just whispering. And Jeff's just like, oh, wow, the Tribal's really, things are happening. It's like, Jeff, it's your job to tell us what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. What are we missing here? What happened? And then
they go like this on their mic.
They leave like Sophie out and then they run over and tell Sophie. And then it was like it was so random and weird. And then MC started it and it went against her in the end. So what?
Right. Well, when Jawan said, oh, she's playing hard, that's when I knew she was going home.
Yeah.
Because they say
she that. Yo, I'm out of here tonight, and I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna have a cheeseburger, and it is gonna be so good, and you're gonna be sitting at camp starving, and I'm gonna be eating. So, what is she saying to these people?
Just let you know, Chat GPT doesn't even know what she said. Like
Oh
that,
my word, we
we'll
can't
never
even get
find out.
AI.
That's the
Well,
fact.
maybe we'll find out next week when they come back from tribal and they talk about what went down at tribal and what happened and what was said, because I am just so curious. Now, my next question is, what if you were MC and you did do that, like we saw, what should she have said?
What could have happened? Um, I think what could I go back to this, and maybe this is a cop out answer, but she should have been more telling of why she played the idol and how that wasn't a form of distrust. But again, Jawan seems to be a very emotional guy. But with Jawan being emotional, I wouldn't have wanted to form an alliance with Jawan because I've been worried about his emotions. If you are sad that I played an idol for myself to keep me in the game, I would be questioning you and being like, wait, hold on, you're sad? I had to give up my idol because I don't have a trust with you yet. So show me your trust. So I think she could have done a lot before that vote, and I don't know if she could have said anything else.
Alex?
Yeah, we wanted a lot from MC because she was, a strong, woman, and like she could have been a great player, and she was in a great position. She was pretty insulated against everybody, but she just didn't have like that confidence to like, command the vote or inspire confidence in people, and so she lost control of it and wasn't able to get it back. And this is the whole kind of issue with them saying like, let's not vote off Savannah. Let's not vote off Rizzo. They're too big of threats. They're too scary to go after. It's like, it only gets worse as you go down. So now you're seeing the effect of this of like, they voted off Nate, who was totally unopposing, totally like, just like not a personality, not somebody who has gravitas and is bringing people in,
Right.
and like, capturing attention. He's no Rizzo, he's no Savannah. He's just kind of this, oh shucks, I'm bad. Like, what's he gonna do? So now they're in like this terrible position, and it's shame on all of them for not voting off Savannah or Rizzo, because they're also a duo. It's a strong personality duo as well.
Yeah.
So the number one thing in Survivor is you break up like the perceived power couple. And if anyone's too tight with each other, and they're just tight with each other, I think they are like they connect on that level because they're both like, kind of intense in that way, and make people uncomfortable. But he's actually a fun guy. So like he doesn't make people super uncomfortable, but his personality may be a little bit overbearing. So that's why, it's just not great, why their opponents are just not great players, right?
And and I think this goes back to when MC was caught by Savannah searching for the idol. That's where that whole, okay, we're not gonna cohese together. This isn't working. This is an awkward situation. So if MC was better at being like, okay, maybe I really won't work with her, but let me at least work on some kind of bond with Savannah, then she could have been to Savannah or Rizka and say, hey, let's vote out Sage, or change it up, or the three of us now work together. But I don't think MC really was able to. She had good relationships. She never had a great relationship. And that's the difference between a winner of Survivor and just somebody out there that's really good at challenges and doesn't make enemies.
Well, if Savannah walks up on MC trying to look for the idol, MC's all cagey about it. A good player would be like, girl, get in here. Let's find this idol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and like create an alliance there instead of like totally burn the bridge.
Yep. That was the difference maker in why MC got kicked off. She's a good person, good player, strong player, but as far as like building some kind of connection,
the strategy just isn't there. And it showed apparently last night too, and I think that's the case. One other thing I wanted to point out before we start making our predictions for next week is, if this isn't a reason why people should be careful where they put their idol. Now, the whole time, whenever these situations happen where Jeff says, you're not going back, you're going to go to this other island, and you're going to go from there straight to tribal. So you're not going to well, it means if you've taken that idol and hidden it on the beach somewhere to hide it so that no one finds it in your bag or no one, and then you didn't bring it with you to a challenge, then Riz could have been sitting there with no idol.
True.
And we wouldn't have known that.
Well,
So
they wouldn't have either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is like he could have.
they wouldn't have had either, but we never even got a hint of that, which made me think that he did bring it with him, which means he's keeping it on his person, and that's a very hard thing to do when you're on Survivor, because you're either, if you leave it in your bag, it can be found because people will go through your bag, but then if you hide it, stash it somewhere, then every time you go anywhere, you're going to have to go retrieve it and then put it in your bag and then go to the thing. To me, it gives it a whole bunch more depth to all of the stuff. And I kind of think it's okay to go through bags because it just makes it so much harder for that person that hides an idol to protect their secret.
Sure.
So that was kind of my take on the whole thing. Do you think Riz, he must have had it with him because he just didn't ever give away that he didn't?
I would have liked it. With his, everybody knows about it, so he can easily just put in his 10-foot sock and just everybody be fine. But imagine if he had like one of those like China things and he's
the plaque. Like, I know, right?
Horse in his sock. Poor guy. That would be terrible.
Or a stick, with a face on it.
Stick with a face.
Stick with a face. All right. Well, we've got a few minutes left. It's time to wrap things up and just make our picks. Who is going home next week? Brandon, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. So I think going home next week, we have the Up Yours Alliance versus Riz, God, Sophie, Savannah. And then there's Alex, who I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. I would say that they start. Oh man, do they do this? I'm going to say that they start alluding to Steven, and they somehow find out that him, Juwan, and Sage are a thing. And I'm going to say, do I think that? I don't want it to be Sophie because it's too obvious. So my unpopular pick is Steven gets voted out because I want to see why a member from the Bottoms Up Alliance doesn't get to season 50. I'm saying Steven, just to throw it out there.
Okay,
I'm
Alex?
not with that, but I'm going to say Steven.
Yeah, I think Steven's a good guess because he's kind of a threat. It's not Sophie. Sophie has some alliance now with Savannah and Rizzo and Sage especially. So, that's going to move her farther away from. I don't think it's going to happen yet, but in an ideal scenario and like play and like what's the most exciting thing that could happen is Savannah and Rizzo find out that Christina has an idol. Sophie uses the knowledge as power advantage to steal Christina's idol, and then they vote Christina out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm thinking may happen. I
still think do you think they'd vote Christina out before they vote Steven out with it?
I don't know. I'm just saying what's like the coolest thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think your analysis of Steven going home is actually a good thing. A good guess because he has 4 votes already, so he has been a target before.
Mm-hmm.
And Soph did place a vote on Steven, and that was the target. I think that Sage and Riz, they were like trying to get at the first tribal was Steven, and they were unsuccessful, and Nate went home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it maybe we'll go back to him because physically he's strong. He's a rocket scientist, which I think he divulged to everybody, so he's great at puzzles, right? And I think, without him, then Christina's out there on her own, and Sophie has one less kind of nerd person to talk to. So
yeah,
great. Isolated too.
Oh, I
have an unpopular opinion.
Let's do it.
I think it's Savannah that goes home next week.
You think she's done enough to get on 50 though?
Here's what I think. I think she built that relationship with Riz. I think what we saw this week with her being the princess that she wants to be, and I think that carries into this next episode. We see some really good planning and plotting on her part, and the tightness between her and Riz builds even more. But I think something happens and Savannah goes home or she goes on the jury, because remember, we keep seeing her. Then Riz has to fight to stay in the game, because he just lost his number one. And that's what puts the two of them, because I think, here's my opinion, I think they like bringing people back that in pairs. So if you look at who they brought back in 40, some of the people are like, they were really close on their season, and they bring them back together. So I think Savannah is already great TV. Like, not just that she's a great player, but I think she's great TV. And I think there's a difference, and they want great TV. So I think I think Riz is definitely great TV, because he's just got that kind of personality for it. So I think that they see the two of them, and I think Riz pulls them. That's just my thought on it. I don't know. It could be iffy, could be 50. But I'm seeing the two of them getting split up relatively soon. I think it's going to be really soon, and it might even be next week, because you're going to have Christina with an idol. You're going to have Steven and Jawan with that. And then I think they pull Sage in. Now you've got a really solid 4, and we could even see more movement. Sophie could jump ship. And then you've got Savannah and Riz and the other Sophie together. So I don't know. I think they're getting a few numbers together that they could make a move. And they, I think that extra vote makes Savannah think she's pretty untouchable, and I don't think that it does.
And that's what I like about this. We're at a season where I think it is better than what people say, because we are halfway through and we don't know really who's going home. There could be 5 or 6 or 7 people that are going home. So since we have another minute, who is safe next week to you guys? Who is absolutely, you're putting your stamp on it? Who's safe? Alex. Remember, Sage is there too. We just didn't pick her because we just think that she's going to go home early. Yeah.
I do think that Soph and Rizzo and Savannah are safe. I just feel like they have so many advantages. It would be pretty embarrassing for one of them to go home when they have 3 different advantages and they can do so much, and they can use those advantages especially to scare people. And they could go around and they could scare each one of them in isolation. Like Sophie goes to one person and is like, hey, I have this advantage. And then Rizzo goes to another person and is like, hey, I have this advantage. And then they're all telling each other and they're like, wait, who's lying? And like, it would create so much uncertainty if each one of those people leaked to one person of the other alliance. Now, you probably wouldn't want to do that at this stage, so they can get through one more vote. I mean, they already know that Rizzo has an idol, right? They don't know about the extra vote with Savannah, and they don't know about Soph's knowledge is power. So they don't need to do it all, but I think they could leak these things and create a lot of paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Bree?
I think Sophie's safe. I think Sophie, without any, is safe. I think she's in one of the best positions right now because no one talks about her.
Mm-hmm. I like her too.
I like her. Yeah, I like her, and
her energy, squeaky, kind of funny voice. She's likable. She was saying her prayers when she was up there. That was like,
I got chill.
Right? So
Bree's not about it. Bree is like another Saint Jean or whoever. Jean
Shaheen. No, I thought that was fine. I mean, like, you got to say whatever you got to say, whether it's
more people don't do it.
Taylor Swift,
Gregorian chanting up on the
lyrics, whatever you're doing up there. Shake it off, baby. I don't care what it is, but yeah, I thought she was great up there. I thought she did really well. I thought she stayed up just long enough and gave it her all and like left it all on the table or whatever Jeff says. And so I think she's really safe. I think she's not enough threatening to worry about, and she's not, pissing anybody off. Her name's not in anyone's mouth. Yeah, I like that.
Well, and to me, Sophie, but to me, Sophie has a better story right now, I think, than Rizgad and Savannah, because she's been in more tribal councils. She's not anybody's trajectory, and she has this beware, or this advantage that no one else knows about, even her closest allies. So, the question in my mind, Bree, and that's where we keep on going to this, is like, are we glad we know 2 people go on or not? 'Cause it's tripping me up. But so I'm thinking that she is more susceptible to going home next week than a Savannah or a Rizgod, because I'm still waiting for somebody to do enough. So I'm going to say Rizgod, Rizgod, is staying secure.
Very cool. All right. Well, we are over time. We got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a ton of people in watching today, and we really appreciate you. Make sure you say hi in the chat or leave us a comment. Who do you think is going to win this season, and who did something that can get them the nifty title, the 50 title, or who was just, if we want to see more? We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys.